Yo, yo, it's the Big Al Podcast. Hope y'all come and tune in. I was up here talking to my cousin about this. We had like a little debate about what was the best year in hip hop. I had one of my people said 92 was, but me and my bro, we was like, no, 1995 was the best year for hip hop. They had some fire music that came out that year. Then add on to the feud with Pocket Big, so it's like everybody was coming out with that fire shit that year. And you know, the East Coast, they was coming up on back of Big's back, riding the coattails because he kind of brought New York back to the scene, especially with the One More Chance video. He really took it to another level. But I'm gonna get into some songs. One of my favorite songs is by Pac that came out in '95 was that Dear Mama. I remember hearing that song. It made a big impact on me because of how I felt for my mother. And that Dear Mama, that could contribute to all moms out there. It seemed like when Pac rapped, he seemed like he got to the emotions. He's like he knew when he rapped what he was talking about. He was making social changes and doing social movements. He wasn't the perfect guy. And, it's like he had two sides to him. But matter of fact, that whole album, Mid Against the World 95, sold 5 mil while he was in prison. So he went platinum while he was in prison. But it had a lot of cuts on there, Death Around the Corner, Dear Mama, Shed So Many Tears, Heavy in the Game with him and Richie Rich. So, 95 Pac really, he took it to another level. Just, the case he caught kind of almost derailed his career, but he came hard, as the rest is history. Another one of my jams in '95, that Too Short, the Cocktails album with him and Pac. This Is How We Do This, fire song. And the Freaky Tales, or the Cocktails, is what you call the song. So that album right there was jumping, and it had the jams on there. Like I said, '95 we was rocking. And then we had Junior Mafia's Players Anthem. Yo, grab it if you love Big Pop. Ladies, grab it if you love Big Pop. Gotcha open. So, he was spitting real fire. And what's special about the whole Junior Mafia album is that, Big wrote all the lyrics to the song. He wrote everybody's verse. So that's kind of great when you can write for other people. It's like he was just like what I will say, right? He probably rapped to them for them to write it. Because, he wasn't a writer, but he had to write something. He had to write it for him. And I ain't even gonna lie, to me, you could tell it was his writing, but the whole Junior Mafia album was jumping with Players Anthem, Get Money, Need You Tonight, and especially him coming off the success of Ready to Die. So 95, to me, that Player Anthem was, to me, the song of 1995. This is showing you that the East Coast was making the climb back up in the charts, because, West Coast was really on fire. You had Snoop, Dog Pound, and when Pac came from out on bail and on death row with All Eyes on Me, and to continue that West Coast momentum. But the biggest Player Anthem song in the Junior Mafia Conspiracy album, it wasn't like I won't say it was a 5-star album, but they had a lot of cuts on there that you can vibe with. And it was, rocking it on the East. So let me swing back to the West Coast with the E40 One Love. You know, E40's been previous to that. E40 has dropped a couple of albums, but you know, it wasn't on that mainstream level. And when he came out with the One Love album, I think to me that's what really I really started messing with him. But like I said, the year of '95 when he dropped that One Love, I can remember being in middle school and Cass was rapping it, the whole verse. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the beginning, he said, you got to collect call from your partner. So basically, you try to say, you know, he's showing love to his lockdown homie, which is cool. But, you know, One Love, Sprinkle Me, timer, 40 water, sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle me, man. So, you know, he was sprinkling the cats with the games, especially with that, the E40 Ebonics he was spitting. And for him, you got to be real talented, you know, to spit your own language, you know. And I can recall when AZ had dissed E40 because of his rap style. To me, every rap style is different. Me, I'm love being I'm an East Coast fanatic, but I know at the same time, styles of raps are different from each coast regarding their surroundings. So I figure, like, you know what, it just for different areas of America or the rap style, everybody's got different rap culture. So I kind of can see why the people in New York thought his style was, you know, kind of crazy all the far he was rapping. And then you had the Click album, E40 and the Click, Sugar T, D Shot, Be Legit. You had that Hurricane, because you could call me Slurricane. I tell you what, when that Hurricane came out, I played it over and over and over. You know, a funny story, my cousin, like a couple of years ago, started making the Hurricanes. I ain't never messed with it because I'm like, I'm pretty sure if Hurricane, you get your Slurricane, and you so told, hey, I don't want none of that. She'd probably been threw up everywhere, but that Hurricane was my shit, was a banger. And then you got Be About Your Paper. Be about your paper, man. Fatty feet that scratch, man. Was another jam. So E40, you know, he was banging out hits. And oh yeah, don't maybe forget about him, Pac, Spice One, Dustin the Disgusted. And he was on the I Got Five on It remix. So, you know, 95, we was live, for real. And then you had my boy LL back to the East Coast. You had my boy LL Cool J with the Hey Love, but it's just more than a crush. You know, LL's known for making the rap love songs, but he the only one that could get away with it. But he came after the 14 Shots to the Dome. To me, I thought it was a flop. And then when he came out with the Mr. Smith album, he proved why he's Uncle L of the rap game. So he had doing it and doing it and doing it well, which was a banger that whole summer '95. The banger Hey Lover and Who Shot You, which Pac thought that was a reference to him too, besides the Who Shot You by Biggie Smalls, which Who Shot You had Prodigy, Keith Murray, Fat Joe, Foxy, and LL. But you know, the whole summer, the whole song was rocking. And then when you have it was like LL Cool J was kind of passed the baton, like let these young guys, you know, get on the track, let them shine, you know, showcase them. And that's what he did. So to me, he's like one of the best in the game. And for him to let those guys shine and Foxy he of the guys and the girls shine on that remix. He was showing like the next batch of seasons coming out. It's gonna be the future of the New York rap scene or the East Coast scene. You might want to go ahead and put it that way. Then you got Redman and Method Man with the How High remix. 95, it banged the whole summer too. How high that I could kiss the sky, up in the sky. Especially when you got Redman and Meth on the same song, you damn better believe it's gonna be jamming. You know it's gonna be up there rocking. It's gonna rock till the party don't stop. And then we go ahead and switch back to the West. We flip flopping. You feel me? We got what is it? Loonies. I got 5 on it. The regular and the remix with E40, those guys, and why you wanna play your hate on me? I'll tell you what, that Operation Stackonia, if y'all young out here, get that album. Nothing but fire on there. But that I got 5 on it to this day. They didn't use it in movies now, but to this day, it's still a banger. It still goes hard in the paint. So y'all to go ahead, get that. That's what that Looney streaming. The whole album was jumping. And it was dissing Master P about, there was the real ice cream man or wherever that old stupid beef went to. But, go ahead and check it on that album. Album was a banger. Then we got that Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise, especially when that big nigga was singing on the track. He was sweating, so he was all about that business. For real. Gangsta's Paradise, which was one of Coolio's best-selling song probably of all time. Coolio been around for a long time with Dub C and the South Circle or whatever the group was called. No, in the Mad Circle, Dub C and the Mad Circle. So Coolio been around for a long time, and with that hit, he probably was eating off that Gangsta's Paradise. But I can remember coming out in '95 and everybody, their mama was singing that song, Gangsta's Paradise. Then he had that Fantastic Voyage, was a banger too. Like Coolio was hitting them home runs in '95, but all good things got to come to an end. But there was one of my eyes on my list, one of the hits to me for 1995. And then we go to the Midwest with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Them coming off the Creeping on the Come Up, For the Love of Money, and Thuggish Ruggish Bone. They came with the first of the month. If you were sitting there getting a welfare checks, we all the parents that once in a while then got that welfare check, and they wait on the first of the month. It's like, wake up, wake up, wake up! It's the first of the month. But to this day, still be banging. They still play it on the radio, which is why on this list of my list for '95 to show you like majority of these songs that I'm talking about, they still playing it to this day. It's like '95 was like the '91 Olympics with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. This how I feel about this list, because it was like a cheat code, nothing but bangers. Then you got DJ's Quick's Dollars and Cents, where he was going at MC8. I mean, that just was brutal. They even performed that song at the Source Awards right in front of MC8. It's like they had all the Death Row guys sitting towards the left, I believe, and he was there, but he, MC8 smart is like all these cats, but you got to be bold to perform the song, in front of your op, and he can't really do nothing about it. It's like, I'm out, man. But he had people there, but the whole, Source Awards period was off the chain, with the Death Row versus Bad Boy. I don't like saying East versus West, because the East and the West Coast rappers, a lot of them got along. It was just too record labels that was beefing, and then the media making it because they're on two different coasts. But like eventually all of them that came out to California, so hey, there must be some kind of peace treaty going on. But with the dollars and cents, it's like he, even though he didn't write the song, but whoever wrote the song, it had to touch a nerve because it was like a real serious shot to MCA, but it was a bang. I remember walking with my homie Damon Lovejoy, and I was already hip to Quick, but he had bought the Safe and Sound album with that song on there, Dollars and Cents, and him performing at the Social Words, he was mixing and producing for Death Row, so you know, Quick, shout out, I love the song. Then we're gonna go to Dog Food album, which was by the Dog Pound. Dog Pound came. They hey, right behind the success of the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. They followed with Dog Food, and you had New York, New York, which is one of my favorite jams. I wouldn't say that I didn't. I know some of the East Coast rappers got offended, especially in the video when Snoop came and knocked over the tower buildings, which, some years later they'll, get demolished from the terrorists, so to speak. But it was touching, like the backstory to the song. They wanted all the East Coast rappers to come and meet up and appear on the song because at the time it was still rocking, but they said Biggie got on the radio like, "Hey, Red Hook, stand up! You're gonna let the Dog Pound come on our turf and shoot a video," which at the end they was just paying homage because everybody knows that the hip hop started in New York, but I believe the West Coast started selling more albums. They had a G Funk era. And at the time, I don't think the New York rappers were ready to change the style because they thought it was still on the lyrical tip. Like we gonna stick to the formula, but as time go on, the yes y'all, hip hoppity dop, that shit ain't gonna work because you basically changing with the times. And like I said, for '95, it was like a shift, especially on the East Coast. So I try to make it from East, West, East, West, East, West, because you still had Outkast with that Me and You, the ATL song. So I mean, you still had them, and like you said, we got something to say in the South. They had something to say in the South. But '95, it was really like a transition year. It was like rebranding rap and going with another coast like New York, going shifting with the change of times. Like we got to be different, We can't do the. There's nothing wrong with the jazz samples, but the G Funk samples is where it's at because everybody could ride to it. That Devil Was Jumping, the funkadelic type of samples, like Ice Cube's song, or don't forget about Friday with the Double Dutch sample, but it was funk, and that's why in '95 they didn't have the grip like they had years past. It was feeling like, okay, New York, they taking a turn. They see where this rap shit is going, like as far as with the styles and the samples. So under the comment section, post what year you think was the best songs in hip hop, and then I'll go ahead and say it on the show and see if I disagree, or you can come, or you can do a live stream and debate with me. But my list of 95 had the bangers. So the big boy Al is out. Peace, love.